the JOBY Jib Kit. Which model should you buy? Some tips on assembling them, and how do you get those cool shots that you see in our demo video? So what's the difference between both models? The one here on the left, which is the JOBY Jib Kit and pole pack, comes with 3 poles. And the one on the right here, which is just the Action Jib Kit, comes without the poles, but it's supposed to be used with a monopod. So if you have your own monopod at home, this is the one you should buy. If you don't have your own monopod at home, go with our Action Jib Kit and pole pack. Comes with 3 poles. We'll go through assembling them next. So what's in the box? Well, right, what we have on the table right here is the Action Jib Kit and pole pack. So I'll go through it real quick. You're going to find the end that is there for the GoPro to mount on, the handle, 3 poles, a piece of string, and this elastic cord which goes in the middle. I'll go over those in a sec. You're going to find 2 Velcro straps, and they're basically mostly to keep your poles. You can strap them around them when you're not using them. If you buy just the Action Jib Kit for use with monopod, you're also going to get this little cap here, the one little cap. And the cap is for the end of the monopods. Just screw it on there real quick. And then it's so that little screw on the bottom of a monopod doesn't dig into your pants and tear them up or anything, or your shirt. Okay, so let's assemble this. First thing you want to do is you're going to grab each one of the poles. They just thread into the bottoms here. When you tighten them, make sure you get it real tight, because what you don't want to happen is you don't want them loosening up while you're using the jib, because it'll start to twist everything. So just make sure you give them a good twist. Take the next one, tighten it up really tight too. Okay, so we got our 3 poles done. Now we'll get the end for the GoPro. So the top of the pole here, we're going to back out these screws. And you want to back them out to where, let's see if I can get this where you can see here. Here's the threads, and go maybe another 1/2 inch past. Don't want to go all the way out, but about 1/2 inch past. Then on the inside here, you'll see the red rubber things. One thing you might not know is if you pull these out and you twist them and you stick them back in, there's 2 circumferences. One of them is for a wider pole and one is for a thinner one. So we'll definitely want the wide pole on this one. Make sure they're both the same on both sides. And we're going to take the end here, bring it under, match it up, put this around. You can see it's got this little one side latches on. If you go this way, it's not going to work. You have to bring it around this way, slide it onto the pole, twist lock these guys to where they come flush. So what you want to do is get it to where it's nice and firm. It feels like it's on there. It's not moving too much. And for right now, then we're going to back out just a little bit. So it's on, but it wiggles a little bit. So we're going to leave it like that. Then we're going to come to the other side. So if this is off to the left, the handle needs to be to the same side. I'm right-handed, so it's basically going to be the opposite side, like this. On the bottom one, you're going to be about the middle of the bottom pole. And just like on the top one, we're not going to go fully tight right now. So what we're going to do is you want to make sure that these are lined up. And an easy way to do this is, if they're a little loose, is you can set them down on the ground. You can't see it because the camera can't show it all, but if you set it down and then on something flat like the ground, you can line them up. So once you get them lined up, the next step is the string. In the bag, you're going to notice there's 2 lengths of the black string. Most of the time, you're going to want to use the long one. The short one's in there in case you want to maybe use 2 lengths of poles, but really, you're going to use the long one most of the time. So you'll take the bungee, and you're just going to attach it to the string. Put it in there. It's in the middle. Gives a little flex, and that's about it. So you just put the bungee right there in the center. Okay, bungee's going to stay in the middle here. Just going to come to the end, put the string over the end, real quick like that, come down to the other end, put the string over the wheel. Now as you can see, I'm too loose here now, but I haven't tightened this up, so I'm just going to stretch this one, loosen up just a little bit more. Just going to stretch this one back. I'm going to pull it, So how tight do you go? The initial thought is you want to get it really, really tight. But really we're just looking for just snug, not super tight. So we got it there, we've lined it up, made sure our pole is good on the ground. We're then going to 1, 2, 3, tighten this up. And a good rule of thumb when you tighten these is, if you look on the back side, you can see the screws. When the screws just go just a hair past being flush. Come to the other side, give it a couple turns. So I'm on there, I can reach out, Jib Kit's working. Now to attach the GoPro. In the kit, you're going to see our GoPro adapter, just screwed on the bottom. Has a little 1/4-20 thread right there in it. And you're going to take this, screws right on, and you want to try to slide it all the way to the edge, all the way that way. That is it. That is how you assemble the entire JOBY Jib Kit and pole pack. Now, if you have a monopod, you pretty much follow the exact same procedure, and you end up with it. You get your monopod, it's on. The only difference is you put the cap on that we showed earlier. It's already on your monopod. You can just unclick your monopod, pull it out. Sometimes on a monopod it gets twisted a little bit. That's about it. There we go. Put the string on and you're ready to go. The really cool thing about using the monopod, if you have one, is you can leave it fully assembled, minus the string, and it's just so quick. You can just throw it on your backpack, keep the string in your pocket, and you're ready to go. I carry the monopod, but the pole is a good alternative if you don't have one. Okay, so let's look at how you can get the shots that you see in our demo video. If you go to joby.com and you scroll down at the bottom of the page, you'll see we have it broken down to all the different types of shots. There's 8 shots there that we actually used in the demo video. So I'll go through and explain how I got those shots or how some of our advocates got those shots. So the first one that we have is the crane shot. It's the one you see in a lot of Hollywood movies. They usually have a big giant jib crane. And what we wanted is we wanted to be able to get that huge jib crane shot, but not have to carry, you know, a tripod, a 20-pound jib crane, weights, all this extra gear. So we came up with this. Now to get that shot, you're basically going to take the jib kit. You want to put it into your hip real firmly. You want to reach up. Probably not all the way extended, but right about just past the first pole. When you grab the handle, some of us here find that it's easier to have a light touch, and other ones feel that it's good to have a nice firm touch. It's not that important. You'll figure it out for yourself. The main thing is make sure the camera's square, so you can see it's not tilted up, not tilted down. Just make sure it's square. When you start, put your hand on it and just concentrate on your left hand. When you concentrate on your left hand, bringing the pole down or bringing the pole up, you'll notice your right hand will just follow and the camera should stay level. A few times of practice and you'll have it down. You'll get it. It'll be nice and smooth. One thing to concentrate on is make sure your starts and stops are real smooth. Make sure you have it firmly planted. If you have the pole out here, it's always going to be wiggly. So firmly planted, concentrate on your left hand, make sure your camera's level, and it's the start and stops. So for the first opening shot, you see the girl standing there, and then we go to the shot of the trees. You want to make sure there's something in the foreground close to your camera. If you just shoot a landscape and there's nothing there, you won't get that sense of height. So you want to make sure you really have something in the foreground. You bring it up, make your move, and it'll really make it a lot more dramatic. A few more examples you'll see here where one of our advocates in Minnesota did some really good snowboard shots. And you can see at the end there, subject's there, he rotated up, it was nice and smooth. That's the JOBY crane shot. Moving on, the next one is a tracking shot. A tracking shot is pretty much where you're just following the object. With the motocross rider, we brought it in, tracked along with him, same with the BMX rider. And you can see there in the skiing video, he's doing the same thing. As the person jumps over the top, he tracks. As the dog runs across the beach, we track along with them. Next one's the high angle. Pretty basic. I mean, it is what it is. You tilt the camera down, come up. One thing that we found when we tried it is we brought it all the way up here and we were holding the camera here to get some extra height. the next video you're going to be watching now is we start and we're way above Nikita at the BMX track, and then we rotate it down. Then Peter in Prague is getting these shots. Basically the same thing with the backflip, he's up high, and that's the high angle shot. So moving on, we're at the low shot. Now low shot, just the opposite of the high shot. Just bring the jib crane, have it at the ground, bring it out. If you have kids or dogs, this is really one that you'll be using a lot. So as we watch our video, we have the dog there, and he's on the ground. You can see we're running along on the beach, and really we're just running with him with the jib kit down. One thing we did there is we held onto the strings so they wouldn't rotate. And then Peter in Prague here, he goes up high, brings the jib kit down, and he's staying at the level of his child. We did some cool shots of an RC car, following the car around nice and low. The RC car was done with a Sony action cam at I think 120 frames per second. Next one is the top shot. So the top shot and the high shot, pretty similar. The only thing that you're going to see the difference is that it's basically when you're on top of a building or something and it's really high and you can't get out over it, so you just stick the camera out. In the video with the top shot, you'll see we're on the top of a rock climbing hill rock. We don't want to be over the edge, so we just hold the camera out. We're on top of Coit Tower here in San Francisco, and we hold the camera out. So next one is a tilt shot. Now you can either just do a tilt shot where you're there and you rotate up, or you rotate down, or you can combine them with a jib move where you have the jib in there, and as you come up, you rotate the camera down. So what you'll see in the demo video is we start up, we're looking at the sky, we rotate down into the traffic, we're looking down, we rotate up. One thing to keep in mind with the GoPro if you use it, the slower you do the moves, the less you'll have of the horizon warping. You'll see a little bit in those example videos. We moved a little too fast, and when you move a little fast, you'll get like a wobble in the horizon. That's due to the wide angle of the GoPro. So if you want to get rid of that, just go really, really slow. It's a little tough to do to fine tune and get it that smooth, but you can do it with some practice. A hard to get shot is basically when you're trying to get a shot with the jib kit that might put you in harm's way. You can basically reach out there and use it to get your shot. So in the example video here, put it underneath Nikita a lot of times because you don't want to be under her when she's doing a backflip. Followed the motorcycle rider through the berm. We get the camera really, really close into him. We obviously didn't want to be hit by the rocks. And then as you can see, we're following the kid on the bicycle, and we rotate up, do a crane shot, and follow him along. So it kept us out of harm's way. We were able to get a lot closer to our subject, and we got some pretty cool footage out of it. Okay, next up is the spin shot. And what I did for it is I turned the camera sideways, and I put it up like this. Now, I sat on the ground, and I have the camera like this, and I'm back here. I'll just hold it on myself, but I'm on the ground, and I just used the strings, and I rotated the camera around this way. And that's all I did to get this shot. I spin around, and you'll see me for a sec as it comes through, but I just did a nice smooth movement as I rotate the camera around. And you'll see me right there at the end, and that's how we got the spin shot. Okay, so the final thing we're going to look at is sometimes people use the GoPro app, or Sony, I think Contour makes one too, and that way you can view what you're recording while you're recording using their app on your phone. So one thing we did is we built in a 1/4-20 on the back of the handle. So all you're going to do is take one of our grip type mounts. You're going to screw in either one, the GorillaPod arm or the locking arm. Just screw it in there. You're then just going to go and attach it right to the bottom over here. We have it on there, we screwed it in. One thing to do is tighten this knob real good. Get this in there so you get a nice tight squeeze there. Make sure it's locked on so it doesn't rotate down on you. Then adjust it, get it to where you want it. For your phone, that looks good. I'm then going to go ahead and tighten this knob down again. Take my phone, stick it in there. Watch the screen as I do it. And if I had the app on, I could see what I was doing. That's pretty much how to attach a phone there for remote viewing of the GoPro at the end. Okay, so that was a quick overview of the JOBY Action Jib Kit and Pole Pack and Action Jib Kit for use with monopod. Create some really cool stuff, and if you do, send it to us on our social channels. Just tell us you got some stuff and where it's at, and send us a good link. Thanks for buying the JOBY Jib Kit. Actually, I'm gonna watch this video real quick so I know what I'm talking about. Oh, I gotta take this call. So, which model should you buy? Can't scratch my eyebrow during the thing. You can leave a recording. The JOBY Jib. The JOBY Jib. Okay, so let's get rid of these. Okay, we'll just start over.